Did you hear that?
Is the phone ringing?
Which phone?
I don't know. Yours. Welcome to Cinema Therapy. If you like horror content, hit that like and follow button. Day 30 of 31 Days of Halloween Horror is Black Phone 2. This movie we went and seen in movie theaters. It's only available in theaters right now. It could be streaming very soon. We don't know. But I gave this one 5 stars. I thought it was better than the first one.
I thought it was much better than the first one.
But I gave the first one 5 stars as well.
This is a sequel we've been waiting for about 4 years now. And so worth the wait. Just such a great theater experience. If you want a supernatural twist on what happens in the original film with the same characters, this is a great little film that, I shouldn't say little, it's definitely not little, that manages to capture so many different references to a bunch of classic 80s horror, as well as just being its own creative new direction. It's a sequel and a prequel and so much more than that. Just such a jam-packed movie that manages to fit everything together seamlessly. I know a common opinion is this is better than the first one. I don't want to jump on any bandwagons, but I have to say that, you know, I heard that this is better than the first one from a lot of people. Now there's a lot of people that don't agree with that. Some people think it's just as good as or not as good as the original. I am in that really big, massive group that thinks this is much better than the first one. I was not a big fan of the first one that came out back in 2021. I thought it was underwhelming. I thought it was an alright movie. I didn't think it was worth the hype. And this one managed to take everything that we learned in the first one and still continue that story while managing to kind of introduce new themes, make it a little bit more grim, and add a lot more story and context to these characters, give them more purpose, and develop their characters more. And I really appreciated the character work for this film, as well as the inspiration from other horror films. I love the Super 8 film, which I know a lot of people are mentioning. The Super 8 film for the dream sequences, completely amazing. I don't want to say much more than that, but that's what I'm going to say about the dream sequences. Amazing cast to add new characters in. I loved especially one character who is at this little camp. Yeah, the summer camp they go to in the winter.
Yes, this movie has a wintry feeling to it.
It's all in winter. It's supposed to be a summer camp or some sort of camp. It's up in the mountains, and it's beautiful. This movie has such a beautiful location, but it's also haunting at the same time. And it's such a different thing that I don't think it's done very often, where we get to see like a nice wintry atmosphere. There's a lot of films that do it, but not recently, I don't think. Like, I think of like The Shining or a lot of like Christmas horror films, but this one manages to do that so well and really beautifully captures like this, I don't know, this cold. And I think the cold is also symbolic for this movie and how cold it feels, like how chilling, and just how, you know, it's a lot different. It's not just a slasher film, but it does have a little bit more violence and a lot more this idea of isolation and feeling trapped. And it so beautifully captures the character dynamics between these different characters we have. And I liked seeing that as well.
I would also say that this movie's more heartfelt, has more heart, I think.
Oh, I think so too.
Between the brother and the sister, Mason Thames and Madeline McGraw, their performances were fucking on par.
Yeah, especially like, McGraw. She was amazing. The script work for a character as well as her performance, both together, was chef's kiss out of this world. It was so great. And I think it managed to make you feel a lot more for her. She has this one monologue scene about halfway, no, not even halfway, close to like the third act of the movie. Right around the beginning of the third act of the film. And it's this thing with 2 other characters. And if you know what I'm talking about, it is this really intense, emotional, like really heavy scene. And it's so layered. And it is just so intense. And, you know, a lot of times I look at scenes like that and I'm like kind of just like, I don't really get it. The way they were able to capture this dialogue and make it not feel forced or cheesy or...
Exactly.
It's I think it would be hard to do, to be honest. And they do it so well, and the performances behind it so like, I can't stress that enough. It's just the performances with the script together that make this work.
Yes.
And it's definitely, you can tell, something they put a lot of effort into. And I like the fact that it's still continuation with the same story and the same characters, but they also, again, put in a different direction. A lot of people be like, I don't like that. I want to see it exactly the same perspective. And it takes it and puts it in like a new lens, basically. And it does this thing where we learn more about these characters, all of them in a way, but especially one character. And at the same time, it shifts focus between one character to another character in this film. So in the first film, it's the brother. In this one, it's, I'm just going to spoil this part, it is a sister in this one. This is one movie where it's good to not give too many spoilers, but I will say that it's mostly the sister is the heavy main character in this film, which I liked for a change. It's different.
Yes. And this movie is like Black Phone meets Nightmare on Elm Street meets Curtains.
Well, Curtains really was like one scene in the movie, but yes, like I said, there's a lot of horror references. The dream sequences, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much about this film, but there's things with dreams going on here.
The way that they did the dream sequences and the way they brought the grabber back was very...
It's like they...
Very interesting.
Well, and I want to say, too, it's like they do these nods, but it's not like it feels like it's totally just those films. Like, it still didn't totally feel like any of those films. It feels like they took certain
like
inspiration,
yeah,
but they made it their own, too. Like, it wasn't like it felt like a ripoff. It was like they did... There's one scene that, if you've seen Curtains, it's like a B-slasher film from the 80s. I love it. I say I love it. It's not like one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, but it's a fun slasher film. It's a Canadian film, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's the hag mask, and she had the scythe. And there's a scene that kind of takes inspiration almost directly from that movie, which didn't bother me at all. And I think there's just certain things you tell there's like a love of horror, a love of 80s horror, and I actually like that. A lot of people be like, oh, it feels like redone, rehashed. I thought it was brilliant the way they made it feel like it like fit into the story, and the atmosphere and the locations they were in. It worked. I also say, like I said, The Shining, there was a couple times in the movie, like, not like a bad thing, but just like, it's almost like they were thinking of The Shining when they shot like certain scenes with like these, the snowy mountains and the, you know, just that kind of location atmosphere, and it kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's kind of what I started to think of occasionally at times too, was like The Shining. And I think also, even if it wasn't intentional, it definitely fits the vibe for this movie, because it is not just in this dimension. So, yeah, I give this movie 5 stars too. It was just so good. It's in my top, I think, 5 or 6 films of the year so far. And I mean, we only have like 2 months left, so it's
gonna stay in the top 5 probably.
It definitely has potential to.
This
strongly...
was this year's Smile 2.
It really was, and you know what? That's true. It's like we've been getting such good sequels that I think, in my opinion, are much better than the predecessors. They take the concepts that already worked and they make them that much more fleshed out. They add new elements. And this is very different than Smile 2. Smile 2 is a lot more like pop and, you know, a little bit this more modern atmosphere. This is still, it takes place in the 80s and it still has that atmosphere, and it's not like this really big musical experience. It's much more of a dark, foreboding type of movie, but it really works for this concept and for this character of the grabber. So definitely go check this movie out. It is in theaters for a little while. I don't know how much longer, probably like another month, maybe at most. But definitely check it out in theaters if you can, or if not, in streaming whenever it comes out, and on physical media too, if you like it, because
yes,
always.
That was day 30 of 31 Days of Halloween Horror. Check it out. If you've seen this movie, comment. We'd like to know what you think of this movie.
Please, yes.
If you haven't seen it, go see it. And like I said, if you like horror content, hit that like and follow button.
Yes.
Final video, 31 Days of Halloween, coming up tomorrow. Have a good one.
Take care.